Wave 2 is officially out for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and with that being said, it's time to rank them. Let's see which track in Wave 2 is the best and which one is the worst. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this off the beginning. I think pretty much every single track on this list is really great, except for one, and you'll see very soon. But for the most part, this was a really good wave, so literally placing some in 7 or 6 category doesn't mean they're bad at all. It just shows how good this wave was. If you've been watching this video, remember that this is my opinion based on my little bit of time playing on these tracks so far and how I felt about them so far throughout my playthrough. Once again, my opinion, you are free to disagree and let me know in the comments down below what your list is. That's always okay. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more Mario Kart content, and let's get on to the list of the top 8 tracks ranked for Wave 2. Coming at number 8 and starting the list off as the worst in the Wave 2 pack is Sky High Sunday. Sky High Sunday is very average in my opinion. Now lots of these tracks I'm just doing within time trials to show off the tracks themselves, not really talk about how everything plays with items and all that, because I believe it's probably going to be the same. But Sky High Sunday is very, very boring. For one, the entirety of the race you're going in zero grab, which means you're very floaty everywhere you go, which also kind of messes up with the camera. And on the section where you're going over the ramps and the tubing, it's kind of hard to see where you're going and what you're landing on. The camera doesn't pan all the way down, and overall it's just one big loop. There's not much going on. It looks a lot prettier and crazier than what it really is, and to me, I don't know, for a new track it just didn't really do much. This one also just feels like a trick fest, like all you're doing is performing tricks. Now there are some cool things you can do with the zero grab, like holding down on the stick, going over the ice trays allows you to float down and do some cool stuff with that, and there's some speed boost and kind of flip boost that you'll get on the railing, which is pretty cool. Overall, it just doesn't do anything that crazy compared to the rest of the tracks we have in this wave. Mario Circuit 3 is Mario Circuit 3. There's not much to it, but it definitely stays true to the original, which isn't a bad thing. It feels really good to race on, and it can be a lot of fun and hectic when items are thrown in the mix, but for the course itself, it's pretty good. It has some nice cool turns and some that are very sharp and can be really interesting with the usage of mushrooms, because you can skip some of the areas in the sand and really just get the lead on your opponents if you have the right items at the right time. This track is not bad by any means, but compared to the rest of the tracks in this wave, it can feel a little bit underwhelming. I'm not saying they need to change it all up and do something drastic like what they did with some of the other classic tracks in this game, but I just like the classic feel to it. It's fine for what it is, but definitely not one of the best in this wave, I don't think. Number 6, we have New York Minute. This is another tour track that I found to be super exciting. It was so cool to drive throughout the city of New York and see the different locations that they put in the different types of laps as well. I love having tracks with, 3 unique laps, and it's always very exciting to me. I love going through the city park, and I also love going through the city parking garage and stuff. I thought that was super, super cool. But at the end of the day, it did kind of feel just like a normal drive on a street where like everyone's asleep. Like there's no traffic, there's nobody out on the road, there's nobody walking around, and it kind of made it feel a little slow paced to me. Now in 200cc, this was actually a rush, seriously. But it just felt a little too slow for me at times in 150, and at the most part, it's still a beautiful track. I love everything about this. It just didn't quite do it enough for me. Man, it was so nice to see Mushroom Gorge come back to this game, and it has just been an exciting run. I think it's seriously probably the prettiest course out of all of the DLC that we've seen so far. There's so much detail with the rocks and the mushrooms and the grass. I really love everything about it. And I love how much they changed it up and gave kind of, every player has their own choice they can make. There's so many different routes, not just bouncing mushroom routes, but there's some routes where the mushrooms don't bounce. There's some routes where you just bounce like crazy, and there's some where you can just take a flight path if you don't want to deal with all the bouncing mushrooms, which is super cool. I love everything about this, and the fact that you can still even take the big gap shortcut at the end. It might be a lot harder than Wii's, but you can definitely hit it. As someone that played the heck out of Mario Kart Wii, it's a really good feeling seeing some of those tracks back, and I'm so glad that Mushroom Gorge made its return. This is one of the few tracks I look at on my list, and I'm like, I feel like it should be even higher. I love Snowland so much, and once again, it's a testament to the other tracks in this wave, but Snowland was so good. I don't even know how to explain it. It's a very short track. It's a very basic one from the GBA, and they didn't do a lot to kind of change it up besides give it a couple of ramp boosts and a couple of terrain changes and elevation. But I just can't get over how pretty and just how fun this track is. It's a short, quick one, but there's so many different crazy shortcuts that you could take in this little track. It's insane. If you have a mushroom, there's probably like 10 different areas where you can skip ahead of the pack and just do some crazy stuff. Once again, it's a beautiful track. I love how the items even come out. The items kind of slowly pour out from the sky and drift onto the track and kind of follow the track as if it's a racer itself. I love it so much. There's so much jam-packed into this. Oh my goodness. Snowland has got to be one of my favorite in the DLC so far, but man, it was definitely tough for me to place it either 4 or 3 on this list. It was definitely between Snowland and Calamari Desert for which one I liked the most. I still think I technically kind of like Snowland a little better, but Calamari Desert to me is definitely the better remade course because I just love everything that they did to this track. They put in so much effort. It's no longer just one giant loop around a canyon and around a train track, but instead it absolutely utilizes that train track and puts you in the middle of the train track itself. Second lap even throws up a random ramp path from Mario Kart Tour, which is super exciting to help throw the player onto the train tracks. Now that didn't have to be included at all, but the fact that Nintendo did something like that was so unique. Going through the tunnel as the train is coming was so cool, and it's going to be even more hectic with 12 racers, especially if it's a close race towards the end coming out of that tunnel. I also like how there's multiple different paths you can take too in certain situations where you could just cut left and get off of the tracks, and so many ramped shortcuts in the desert. It could be a madhouse if someone has a lot of mushrooms or a golden mushroom because there's so many cool ramps and shortcuts. I love Calamari Desert and I love the new changes that they brought to it. Now I know fans have been begging for this track forever. I mean, literally I have been one of them, and I know how much people love Waluigi Pinball from the DS, and a lot of people are going to say that this is probably their number one. It was very, very close to me, and I'll explain later on, but Waluigi Pinball looks amazing in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's very close to that in Mushroom Gorge, where it just looks like a beauty. I love all the extra added neon lights and the tubings that they've added throughout the track, and the sound effects are back when you get items. Oh man, it's just an absolutely perfect track. I am so glad that this track returned, and not only did it return, it did so in a grand way. Waluigi Pinball has never looked better, and I'm so glad that Nintendo actually listened to fans and brought back this Mario Kart classic. And that leaves me with my number 1 favorite track in Wave 2 of the Mario Kart 8 Booster Pass, which is Sydney Sprint from Mario Kart Tour. Now yes, I know I never played Mario Kart Tour, so all these tour tracks are new to me and they're going to seem exciting, but I'm telling you, it's been a very long time until I played a track where instantly I didn't have a question that this was going to be my number 1. This track is amazing. I love the atmosphere of the city in the background, the little theme park with the Yoshis everywhere and stuff. Just all the different locations that you go within this one track. It's so beautiful. I love going over the bridge and even hitting the ramps over the bridge, or even going down to the water area with the grass and the little stone statues in the park that you can drive through with a mushroom. I love going through the boat and even going through the opera house and hearing everybody cheer and flying back into the opera house on the way back on the 3rd lap. It is amazing, and the music is so phenomenal. I like how some of the pathways are just wide open and some of them kind of narrow off, and it just kind of gives a really good balance, and I just love everything about this track. Nintendo made a great one. Sydney Sprint is definitely one of my favorite tracks, I would say, in the entire game right now. That is my ranking of the 8 tracks of Wave 2. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and let me know what your list is. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Mario Kart and Nintendo in general. And like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.